Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's Ryan here at Active Tech Review. This is my tech channel, and as of recently I've been messing with this Lumix LX10, having tons of fun with it, recording videos and sort of turning a vlog style like fun with this camera. And I actually want to take this time to talk about 4K and my opinion of it. And I know a good amount of you might agree, especially if you're like a hardcore tech, cutting edge. You want to be on cutting edge, but you can barely afford it like me. We want to buy all this expensive, so the way you justify it is you sell your other stuff so you can buy cooler shit. I don't know if that's you, but that's how I'm just speaking for myself. Anyways, my opinion of 4K. I had G7, and the problem with the G7, it does do 4K. It doesn't crop it as hard as like with the LX10 is. I was doing vlogs for a while, and I never really turned. I made a few vlogs on my main channel, but I found that the files were just too big. I live off SSDs. I don't really have a regular hard drive, you know, like a big 4. I just bought a 4 terabyte, but I don't like using them. And I have so much data. I was recording so much video with 4K, like I'll get 20 or 30 minutes, it takes up gigs of data. And I remember I got to a point, you know, when I first got my Lumix G7, I was recording like every day, just having fun with it, and I had so much stuff. I'm one of those, I'm like a pack rat with video data, right? I have a family and I record them and I just do all kinds of goofy shit. And I just decided I had to compress all of it, you know, I had to render it all into raw files and use Adobe Premiere to compress it, which sort of defeats the purpose, kind of, doesn't it? Maybe not, because it is a higher resolution. But I'm kind of in an intersection of practicality. I do like cutting edge shit, you know, I really do, I love it, but the problem is practicality. You know, and the problem with 4K is the file sizes are too big for someone that loves performance in their laptop or their computer. You know, I don't use a desktop very often. Actually, I don't use a desktop at all, I use laptops. And even though they're gaming laptops that run fast, they have SSDs that allow for faster processing, faster opening of files, but that limits space. And I like speed, so it's kind of like I don't need 4K footage, and I think 4K for most people, I think, is just one of those bells and whistles. Maybe in the future you might future-proof yourself, but you know, until you can get like a 4 terabyte SSD for like $100, I don't think 4K is for someone that records like me. How about that? For my specific circumstance, I should probably say that. This is the reason why I think 4K is overrated, is because if you're a vlogger and you just, you know, you're not doing super high production stuff, I think 4K is sort of just a waste. It's a waste of processing. I mean, the image is much more clear, but I mean, the problem is people don't even have the displays because people are mostly using this most of the time. And also people who use the computer don't use 4K, and even if they could use 4K, it's slow. I mean, like, you get some jittering, you get some stuttering, like MBKHD, I love his stuff, and I'll put it on 4K mode, but then it'll buffer. You know, my internet's fast, and you know, it just depends on the day. I'm not sure, like, you know, like, internet's not perfect all the time, but I'm gonna go on a rant on this because 4K is just a waste of money right now. I mean, until everything else kind of catches up with 4K, it's sort of a pain in the ass to deal with. And you know, tell me your opinion below. I think that 4K is cool, it has its perks, but for the inconvenience of processing and space, for me specifically, I think it's terrible. But if you're hypothetically, if you're someone that uses a desktop a lot and you don't mind it and you're okay with it, or you have like crap load of SSDs and you're RAID 0 out on your desktop with SSDs or whatever, I don't know, then maybe it's fine, you know. But because I'm practical. I like to have speed. I like transferring files fast. I'm the type of person that will make a video and I'll just post it. Like, that's kind of why you see all these videos on the LX10, the Lumix LX10, because I just like doing this. I'm not famous, you know. I'm not, you know. But maybe if I was famous and you know, if I was sort of like that kind of a person, then maybe I would do 4K and I would spend more time. Maybe if I were to shoot a little short film or something, or maybe like when my kids get married, I'll do 4K. I mean, things are going to change in like a decade or so, in 20 years. But my point is 4K, for the most part, is really just a waste. Like, you can do 4K from your phone, right? I can do 4K from my iPhone, and I thought it's cool. You get a little bit quality bump, but again, it's just one of those things that it just makes everything inconvenient. It takes more space. Files take longer to render. They're harder to deal with because they're so huge. And then if you want to go from And then also bandwidth problems. So if you have an SSD card, if you have a SD card, you run into the problem of it being able to, your card even keep up with the data rate. And then sometimes, if you might experience this, is that you need a faster card. Even if you have the card that's rated for 4K, SD cards get old and they kind of wear down, and then they end up stopping recording, and you just run into some problems with speed, because of data limitations. But anyways, those are just my thoughts. Share me your opinion. I'm curious to know what you think. 4K is overrated. Well, let me give the day's date, because right now it's 2017, January 11th, 2017. So maybe in a year it probably won't. No, I still don't think it will. Probably through 2 years, probably. Active Tech Review, Ryan signing out. See you later.